Welcome to the Introduction to Foot Reflexology. I'm Calynda Triffo, and I'm so excited to share this information with you. Reflexology has been my passion for over a decade. What we're going to go through is I'm going to let you know what reflexology is, how it works, how does it help people, what's it like to be a reflexology therapist, the perks of knowing how to use reflexology. I'm going to dive a little bit into research that's going on, and then, like I promised, you're going to get some information about changes to the certification program. We're going to start with what is reflexology? Well, reflexology is simply the study of reflexes. Reflexology therapies are natural therapeutic methods based on the principle that reflexes in the body map to other parts, glands, and organs of the body. So if you look at your feet, for example, the toes are all reflexes for the head. If you go underneath the ridge underneath the toes to kind of where that half moon is, that is the heart, lung, kind of like the chest area of the body. If you go below that half moon in the foot to just above the heel, that's where all the digestive is. And then when you dive into the heel of the foot, that's more where the pelvic reflexes are. So everything is very mirrored in the feet, similar to how it's mirrored in the body. Now, the mother of reflexology is Eunice Ingham. That's her picture there. She's the one that actually came up with the name reflexology. She actually worked with medical doctors to convince them of the value of reflexology. She made major contributions, including discovering that alternating pressure on a certain point stimulated healing rather than having a numbing effect. And she took her work to lay people so that they could learn proper techniques to help themselves and their families. So, who actually invented reflexology? No one, because no one can claim to have invented reflexology. It's just been rediscovered. There's been traces of footwork dating back thousands of years. When people started wearing shoes in the 1880s, the reflexes in the bottom of our feet were stimulated less because they lost constant contact with the earth. So a lot of times, if my clients are going on vacation, I actually tell them to go walk on the beach because the little grains of sand stimulate all the reflexes in the bottom of the feet, and it makes them turn into marshmallows almost, right? Like having the reflexes stimulated by earth is the best that you can get. But we live in Canada. There's snow. Nobody's walking around the streets in Canada in December in their bare feet. It's just never going to happen. So the next best thing is some trained thumbs, and so that you can get the reflexes stimulated, circulation going. This is Dwight Byers. It's actually Eunice Ingham's nephew. I was blessed to be trained under him in Calgary in 2010. And this guy had, if you can see his fingers, I mean, he had the super longest fingers I've ever seen in my life. And they just flew. They were zooming all over the place. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. He was telling a story about in the US how people actually did a money back guarantee on the reflexology sessions focused on carpal tunnel syndrome. And the reason why they were able to do that is because they understood where to press in the hands, feet, ears, or face in order to be able to get the body to respond. Now, so there's a big difference between fighting a cause and battling a symptom, right? If you correct the cause, the symptom usually disappears. A lot of times people battle the symptom, and that's where the problem lies. So he was a super informative guy. He passed away, I think it was during COVID in 2021, but he was well into his 80s. His grandson still has a place in St. Petersburg, Florida, but that's one of his books. It's a good one. A reflexology therapist, there's things that we do, but there's things that we don't do. So we don't diagnose. A reflexology therapist does not have an MRI. They don't have a PET scanner, a blood lab, X-ray machine, those are all the things that you need in order to diagnose any condition. And we don't have that. So obviously we don't diagnose, we don't prescribe, we don't treat for specific conditions, and we don't use machines or instruments that we're not trained to use. That doesn't mean that a reflexology therapist doesn't understand where imbalances are in the body. So when we're working with a lot of clients, they will have tender spots, and their tender spots mirrored in specific reflexes. So we know that there's an imbalance in the body, and we can work the tension out of that. But there's a bajillion reasons why there could be tension in that spot. So that's why we don't diagnose. So how does reflexology actually work? Well, like I mentioned before, the body is actually mapped in the feet or hands or ears or face or whatever reflexology modality you're using. And we use those reflexes in order to be able to gain insights into what parts of the body are holding stress, which ones are struggling, right? And then we put pressure on those specific reflexes in order to send a signal to the brain, hey, you need to pay attention down here. And it just helps things communicate better. So if you go to the doctor and they tap your knee, the foot goes out, right? Well, that's because they're tapping a reflex in the knee. And when the foot moves, it's proof that the nervous system is actually communicating with the body. If there is no movement of the foot, then there is clear evidence that the brain isn't communicating properly with the foot. And then they have to take different measures, right? It's very similar with the reflexes that we work on, only the reaction is not as intense. There's three main benefits of reflexology. First, it promotes relaxation and it releases tension. It improves lymphatic and cardiovascular circulation and the drainage and elimination. It helps to maintain and reestablish homeostasis. So what can actually cause the reflexes to be tender? Well, there's a lot of things that can make it happen. The first can be stress. So that can be physical, emotional, or mental. There might be injury or trauma to that area of the body. If somebody's had surgery, it could make the feet sore. Medication can numb the reflexes, or it can make them more tender. The level of wellness, age, phantom limb, footwear, the reflexes in the feet are really tender. And it's just because our feet are not designed to be squished in pointy shoes with high heels, right? It affects the distribution of the weight and the way people are walking, and fatigue or lack of sleep, emotional challenges. This isn't all of them, but there's a lot of reasons that tenderness can appear in the feet. So when that happens and we know that there's stuff going on, we have shorter and lighter sessions. You just ease up on the pressure. And we do that for babies or very young kids, elderly, the very ill, pregnant, pre-surgery, post-surgery, heart patients, and diabetics. So after a client has a reflexology session, in order for the body to release the toxins, there can be cleansing responses while that happens. We always encourage clients to drink a lot of water because it's like going to a lake with sand in the bottom, and you can see clearly the sand if the water is clear, right? Well, if you go into the water and you shuffle your feet, or you have a stick and you stir up the water, all the sand gets mixed into the water and it becomes very cloudy. Same thing happens when you're working on the bottom of the feet. All the toxins that have settled, that have covered the reflexes, are going to be pushed back into the bloodstream to be released. And when that happens, if there isn't enough water or if there's more toxins, clients might feel they might feel sluggish or their pain could be released. They might find a rash itchy. They might have gas released. They might be urinating more, and digestion might be improved. They may feel dizzy, lightheaded. They might have a cold feeling. So a lot of times when you're working with clients, their toes feel like ice cubes, and it's just because the toxins are starting to release. Sometimes they get a funny taste in their mouth. They could start sweating. They could experience diarrhea, tired, nausea, headache, energized, watery eyes, released pain. None of those things sound fun, but what's happening is the body is releasing everything that is making it not feel well. So those symptoms might last 24 hours, 48 hours, goes away, and then usually clients feel energized. Again, if they drink enough water, they just usually feel good, right? So how often do clients have sessions? Well, they're not going to do a session more than once every 24 to 48 hours. If someone has a chronic condition, reflexology therapists will do a session one time a week. If they need maintenance, it ends up being one time a month. But if no progress is experienced after 12 sessions, it's very important to refer them to another modality. And it's always up to the client how often the sessions are going to take place. So what specifically does reflexology help? Well, how many people do you know with aches and pains? I think all of us know many, and reflexology works with the whole body. So there's very few things that we don't help people with, because we're always focused on the 9 body systems. There's a few contraindications that we absolutely will not work on. It is super important to make sure that they check with their doctor to make sure it's safe to increase circulation, because reflexology, when we stimulate those reflexes, increases circulation. So we don't want to put somebody at risk, making sure that the blood's flowing more, because you don't want more blood going to the head, or any increased circulation with a stroke. Person that's recently had a stroke, that can be fatal. And if you have someone with a blood clot, you don't want that blood clot to move. That can also be fatal. But other than that, and a few other very unique situations, reflexology is generally safe for everyone. So there's 9 body systems, and we focus on all of them. If you don't know what any of those are, don't sweat it. All of that is covered in depth inside of the training. So you will know about all of those. Now, reflexology is like a mediator getting all body systems to work together in harmony again. It helps the body shift from fight and flight into rest and repair. It helps the body to relax. It helps to increase circulation, and it helps to reduce stress. I do not teach people how to rub feet. There is a very specific sequence to follow with every client. When you understand how the body works holistically, each session can be customized for the clients, because we're all 1 in 8 billion people. So there's always a person around the condition. And in reflexology, we treat people that way. So when you really understand what you're doing, you can help clients get amazing results. How exactly do you put into words what it's like to help a friend who has been given a terminal diagnosis with only a limited amount of time to live and can't get treatment because her body isn't strong enough? This is a story of my friend, and she ended up living 18 months. But the most important part of that is she lived. So she was able to have her chemo treatments like she wanted, and she was able to have her chemo, and she literally lived until the last few months, and we got to celebrate so many wins together. That's something that you never take for granted as a reflexology therapist, and it's super rewarding, because I think that the worst feeling in the world is feeling helpless. When you are able to help someone feel better, I don't even know how to put that into words, but I have a whole career of that, and it's amazing. This is another reflexology therapist. She actually went on and took emotional reflexology. It's another modality that I created, but how do you put into words what it's like to have someone that has been struggling for years to have a baby get pregnant after a reflexology session? There are so many stories I can share, from helping people get better sleep, releasing pent-up energy from years of not feeling worry, from having pain for decades and all of a sudden the pain is going away, improved health by helping the body heal itself the way nature intended it to be. It's a blessing to be able to serve people and teach people, and so that things feel better. What's it like to be a reflexology therapist? Well, these are all reflexology therapists. I could tell you for days what I think about it, but Nancy says her favorite thing about reflexology is that I get to see how it's helping others, and she can take it anywhere. Reagan is a nurse, and it taught her to think outside the box when it comes to patient and client wellness, to have more tools in her wellness promoting toolbox and see them work amazingly. The beautiful effects that occur when pain medication seems not to be enough, but then reflexology helps soothe the mind, body, soul, and pain management is reached. Shauna, she loves reflexology. I love seeing the way I help clients and to make them feel even better, even if it's just for relaxation. We are truly blessed to have a touch to heal. It also takes me to a happy, relaxed place from my busy, stressed days. The other perk, you get to create your own schedule. There's no coworkers unless you work in a clinic. It's just you and your amazing clients. You decide when you're available to work. Your office is your sanctuary, set up exactly how you like it, a place where worries melt. And you can start your day and end your day whenever you want so that you can make sure you always feel rested. Now, how does it work for compensation? Well, you create your own revenue too. So if you volunteer, it's going to be $0, right? If you're not working with any clients, you're not helping anyone and you're not making anything. But it all depends on how much you're going to charge for your sessions. So when I teach reflexology, all students have to charge half of what they would charge when they are a full-time therapist. So you're getting paid for your sessions as you're doing them. So for example, if when you're certified, you charge $60 while you're a student, you're going to charge $30. Most times when you work in a clinic, they usually pay reflexology therapists around $30 anyway. If you're working out of your home and you're charging more because you got additional training, you might charge $75. You set your rate. I don't care what you charge for your reflexology sessions. But like I said, when you're getting certified, it's half of what you will charge. If you decided that you wanted to do reflexology part-time and just have spending money, you just do the math. So how many clients do you need to generate the part-time revenue that you want? And if you want to give yourself a raise, it's easy. You just increase your rates, right? There you go. But if you wanted to do reflexology full-time, again, you reverse engineer. So how much money do you need to make a month? How many clients do you need to serve? And then it takes time. It's not like you just get your certificate and all of a sudden your clinic's full. Like, you have to build your clientele. And I teach how to do that. I teach you how to build your business inside the program so that you're not stuck not having any clients. There's marketing tips that you can use. There's a bajillion different things, but this is essentially the math on how to figure out how, if you want to do reflexology full-time, how you get there. Now, what are the perks of knowing reflexology? Well, number one, you can help yourself. So your reflexes in your hands are very similar to the reflexes in the feet. So when you give a treatment, you get a treatment. It's why a lot of people that take reflexology, if they're not feeling good, they seem to heal because you're stimulating the reflexes in your fingers as you're stimulating the reflexes in their feet. It's really super cool to experience. There's reflexology research going on right now, and they're doing brain scans of people that had a stroke, I believe is the research that they're working on now. So while they're getting scanned, they're doing reflexology to see the brain activity. They have over 80,000 images, and the technicians are absolutely blown away with the brain activity that happens when the reflexology is taking place. And so all of this research is currently being studied, and when it comes out and word gets out, reflexology has been around for thousands of years, but there's a lot of people that still don't even know what it is. I believe that when this research gets out to the masses, it could be a game changer for a lot of things. So right now with reflexology, a lot of the group plans that people have with their employers, the individual employers have to have reflexology included as a modality in order for clients to get reimbursed. The training that is required for a reflexology receipt to get reimbursed is an association number that is recognized by the group plans. Now, the Reflexology Association of Canada, 100% has the qualifications and requirements for the group plans to recognize reflexology treatments. So if you take the certificate I give you and you become a member of the Reflexology Association of Canada, which is like $225 a year, there's a board exam. Now there's examiners across Canada that you can go to, but you take the certificate I give you, you take the transcript I give you, and you are qualified to challenge the board exam. Perk, you also get a code that I give you that waives the application fee to become a RAC member. So you would still have to pay for the board exam, but you wouldn't have to pay for the application to become a member. It's a little bit of an extra savings there. And then when you pass the board exam, you'll be qualified as an RCRT. It's a registered Canadian reflexology therapist. So when you have a number from RAC, then you put that number on your receipts. Anyone that has reflexology in their group plan would be able to be reimbursed for their treatment. So in order to keep your number, you have to remain an active member in good standing. You can't just get your RCRT status and that's it. There's an annual membership that you have to maintain in order to be able to stay qualified. This is the tag that you get, and you need the tag and the number, and the group plans actually check with the association all the time. So the RCRT trademark actually belongs to the Reflexology Association of Canada, and MTAS in Saskatchewan. So that's the Massage Therapist Association of Saskatchewan. Any massage therapists that take the training actually get 63.5 CEC credits. Last week, I actually got approval that CCMOTA, that's the massage therapists in Alberta, they get 24 CEC credits, and NHPC, I'm actually just filling out the application now. So anyone with NHPC, the RAC certification is approved with NHPC, so I don't foresee any challenges with getting approval for that either, but the application has been put in for that. So it's a 1-year course in total. So how do you get certified as a reflexology therapist? Well, the very first thing that you need to do is you have to understand the theory. So the reflexology theory portion of the course is called core reflexology. Now, it is a prerequisite for all of the reflexology courses. It takes approximately 3 months to get through. So a lot of times when I was teaching live, what would happen is I would teach the course, and then I would teach the theory in a weekend. So it is a lot to absorb in a weekend. And then students usually had a month to study, and then they wrote the exam. Some students took 3 months to do it. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to do it. It's going to be a work at your own pace, and there is an enrollment date for it. So I'm only going to start students so many times a year. And the reason why that's going to be happening is because I need to be able to manage all the tests that are going on. So for the test dates, there'll be set test dates that you can do, and I always make sure that it accommodates everyone's schedule. I bend over backwards to make sure that happens. It's just that it's more of a group setting than individual. Otherwise, it's just taking way too much time. So when you're doing your written exam for this, I actually mail you a physical exam. You take the exam on Zoom with me watching you, and I've got security measures in place to make sure everything is legit. And then you mail the test back to me, I correct them, and then you can move on to whatever physical or whatever practical modality you choose. So core reflexology is the prerequisite for foot reflexology, hand reflexology, ear reflexology, and emotional reflexology that I developed. You actually need to be certified in core and foot in order to qualify for that. You have to be 18 years old for core. That's it. Now, if you are interested in the foot reflexology course, this is the second part. It's a separate manual, and you have to be done your core in order to be able to take the foot. You have 12 months to complete this course. This is the practical method. You will do 50 practice sessions in here. Again, you can charge 30%, or sorry, you can charge 50% of what you will charge when you're fully certified. And again, the registration dates for this will be set based on demand, and the reason I do that again is to make sure to accommodate everyone for their exams and their reviews. I am very particular, making sure that everyone meets the requirements that I expect. And so I need to manage my bandwidth, because there's only one of me. It's me, myself, and I in here, and I need to make sure that I have time for all the enrolled students. So there's a limit with the enrollment. Again, this foot course is going to be a work at your own pace. So you can go through all of the content at your own pace. That's not an issue. It's just the enrollment date. And it's changing from what has always been. So for a limited time, I am actually discontinuing the Core Plus Foot program. So instead of having 2 manuals and 2 separate courses, you have a chance in order to be able to do it all in one course. So Core Plus Foot, it gives you the ability to just go through the whole thing at your own pace. You can enroll any time. That ends pretty quick. So I've only got 5 manuals left, and I'm pulling the plug as soon as they're gone. So with the all-in-one course, when you register, there are payment plans available. And the payment plans are actually being discontinued as well as of March 31st, 2024. So there's the full pay, there's the 2 pay, 3 pay, 6 pay, and 12 months. So as soon as the 5 students have registered for the 4+ foot course, then if you're just registering for the core or just registering for the foot, full payment is required before the manuals are being sent out. That's changing too. So in addition to the training, you're not just getting the manuals and figuring it out on your own. You actually get access to the private Facebook group for support. And inside the Facebook group, we celebrate people coming into the course. We celebrate when they complete a written exam or a practical exam when they get certified. I come in here to give any updates. So as a student, you get lifetime access to the information and any updates I have. I know a lot of the teachers, whenever there's new information that comes out, sometimes you get certified, you're done, and then you have to take a refresher course in order to be able to get the latest and greatest information. I don't do that. I always give all of my students access to unlimited updates, and so that they're always on top of it, because I believe that's important. And I have videos inside the training portal, or inside the Facebook group and inside the training portal, that you can watch and review. So students that have been with me since the very beginning, when I first started teaching in 2015, are still with me, and they ask some incredible questions. And then I go in and I give the specific answers on what they need to be doing, and so that you're never alone. There is a foot course student portal that you can get into. If you went to my website at www.calyndatriffo.com, you would actually see this. When you click on reflexology courses and go to student login, you click on that, and I give you your own login. When you get that and you go inside, there's different modules, and inside the modules, there's information, videos, worksheets, everything that you need is locked and loaded inside the student portal. So you got access to it 24/7. Plus, once a month, I give a live Q&A call. And so in that Q&A call, you can show up, you can ask a question, you can meet other reflexology therapists across Canada. And yeah, anywhere that you're stuck. If you didn't want to ask it in the Facebook group, you can definitely show up and ask it at the live Q&A call. So what exactly do you get when you register? Well, you're going to get your sequence sheet, your chart. You're going to get access to the certified foot course. You're going to get access to the Facebook group, an actual manual, an actual physical workbook, and then all of your exams are included as well. So it's a one-time fee that includes all your materials, access to the student portal, your exams, your mandatory review, your certificate, and your transcript. I know a lot of people split all of that stuff out. I don't have time for that. That's too much admin for me. I just like one price, and it includes all of it. That's how I roll. And inside the Facebook group, when you do register, and every step, I have a little Bitmoji that comes in to celebrate. She's my little go-to person. So I have been able to teach over 200 students across Canada since 2015, and all of them have been absolutely incredible. I often say that I only teach geniuses, and I mean it, because they're the most caring, most amazing, most giving people that I have been blessed to know. And if you register for the course and you don't know that you're a genius, you just haven't figured it out yet. You'll get there. So thanks for attending today. I am going to stick around for a little bit to answer any questions. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye for now.